Okay, let's go ahead and start with 4.4 worksheet 2. We're going to begin with number 2. Okay, so we have factors. Very first thing we're going to do is find the smallest number up there. The smallest number up there is a 4. Does 4 go into 15? No. Factors of 4 are going to be 1 and 4, 2 and 2. So 4 doesn't work. Does 2 go into 15 or 25? No, it does not. So therefore 1 is your GCF. Okay. Now, with that being said, I need to go ahead and put 2 sets of parentheses here. And I already said factors of 4 are 1 and 4, 2 and 2. Now, I told you guys that 90% of the time you are going to use your inner factors here. So if I use my inner factors, I'm going to have a 2n and a 2n. Factors of 25 are 1 and 25 and 5 and 5. Now, if I put a 5 and a 5 here, that's going to give me a 10n and a 10n. Is that going to give me 15 whether I add or subtract? The answer to that is no. You 100% have to subtract because I need to have a negative 25. I need to have a negative 25. So it doesn't help me to go ahead and do 5 and 5 and swap them because it's the same number. And I could try 1 and 25, but those are really big numbers. So what this means is I'm going to cancel out the 2n and the 2n. And I'm going to change it to become a 4n and a 1n. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and put the 4 here. And now I'm going to check. Inside gives me 5n. Outside gives me a 20n. Sorry, those are n's. And I have to subtract to get a negative 15. So that means the 20 is going to be negative and the 5 is going to be positive. So inner gives me 5n, outer gives me negative 25n, and this is going to be your factorization. Now, we can go ahead and do that same problem if you would like. I'm going to clone my page and clear it. We'll do the same exact problem. And we'll do it the AC method. Okay, so here we go. We know there's no GCF, so I have a 4 and I have a 25. I need 100 and I need a 15. So I'm going to go ahead and put the n and the n, put the plus and the plus, but I need my brain to understand I'm actually subtracting, so I have to have a plus minus, and I'm subtracting. So I need to find all the factors of 100, 1 and 100. And actually, if you wanted to think about it, you could go ahead and say, how am I going to get 15? So I'm going to come over here and show you the factor calculator. We're going to do 100. If I could write the right problem down, that'd be great, guys. Sorry. Okay, so which one of those is going to give me 15? Well, if you said 5 and 20, you would be correct. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put 5 and 20 in there. 5 and 20 are going to give me the 15, but I need a negative 15, so the 20 is negative. So I have negative 20 over my A, and I have 5 over my A. So this is going to give me an n minus a 5 times a 4n plus 5. And that is exactly how we did the previous problem, and we got exactly the same answer. Okay? So again, I don't care which method you guys use, just make sure you show the appropriate work every time. Okay? Next problem, number 5. Number 5, what we're going to do is we're going to look to see what's my smallest number up there. My smallest number up there is going to be 16. Factors of 16 are 1 and 16, 2 and 8, 4 and 4. Does 16 go into 60? No, it does not. Does 8 go into 60 and 100? No, it does not. Does 4 go into 60 and 100? Yes, it does. So I'm going to pull out my GCF of a 4 by doing division. So 16 divided by 4 is going to give you a 4b squared. 60 divided by 4 is going to give me a 15b. And 100 divided by 4 is going to give me a minus 25. Okay? So now the 4 hangs out, and now I'm going to use factors of 4. Factors of 4 that we're going to use are either going to be 1 and 4 or 2 and 2. Now, we learned from our previous example that I can't get 15 unless if I use 2 and 2, right? So same exact concept here. I'm going to use a 4b and a b. I'm going to use a 5 and a 5. I have to subtract, which means I need a plus there and a minus there. Inner gives me negative 5b, outer gives me a 20b to give me positive 15b, and I know I'm right. What happens if you get the right numbers with the wrong signs? Simply swap your signs. So we're going to go ahead and do this the other way. I'm going to pull out my GCF to give me 4b squared plus 15b minus 25. I'm going to go ahead and draw my x. So I have 4 and 25, I have 100, and I have 15. Okay. We already learned from the previous example, I'm going to have a b plus and a b plus. Okay. The numbers that we're going to use are going to be 5 and 20. Remember, we already saw that over here. 5 and 20 is going to give me 15. So my a value is 4. My a value that I'm talking about is right here. So that's going to give me I need to have a positive 15, so that's 20 over 4, and then negative 5 over 4. To give me a 4 parenthesis, come on, 4 parenthesis, 4b, wrote the wrong number there, b plus 5, and then bring this out in front, 4b minus 5. Okay. Next, number 6. Number 6, we're going to go ahead and factor this into two binomials. Checking for a GCF, 3 does not go into any of those. So we're going to go straight to factors of 3 are going to be 1k and 3k. I need to have a positive 7, but that means my signs are either plus, plus, or minus, minus. I'm going to add. That means they're both going to be minus, minus. Factors of 7 are 1 and 7. If I put the 7 in this first spot, I'm going to have 7 times 3, and I do not want that. So I'm going to have a 7 on my second slot with a 1 on my first slot, and I'm going to go ahead and check negative 3k, negative 7k to give me negative 10k, and this is done. If you choose to do this the other method, we already know there is no GCF. Put the 3 here, put the 7 there. I need a 21 and a 10. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go into two binomials. I need a k plus and a k plus. Looking at the end term says that it is going to be a positive, which means I'm going to add. But if you look at your middle term here, that means they're both going to be negative to get the negative 10. So if I come back over here, all the factors of 21 are 1 and 21. 2, no, 3 and 7. So I have to have a 3 and a 7. They're both going to be negative. Put them over my value of my a to give me k minus 1 times 3k minus 7. Done. Okay. Number 10. Number 10. If we go ahead and do number 10, I'm finding my smallest number up there is a 5. 5 does not go into 9 or 10. Which means I need to go ahead and go into two binomials. Factors of 9 are 1 and 9 or 3 and 3. Factors of 10 are 1 and 10 or 2 and 5. So if I put a 3r and a 3r here with a 2 and a 5 there, okay, I have to have a negative, which means I am subtracting. Okay, inner gives me 6r, outer gives me a 15r. Is that going to give me that? No, it won't. If I swap them, it will not work. So 2 and 5 will not work with 3 and 3. So I'm going to erase 3 and 3, and this time I'm going to use 9r and r. Inner gives me a 2r, outer gives me a 45r. That's not going to work. So I erase the 2, I erase the 5, and I swap them. Inner gives me a 5r. Outer gives me an 18r. That is not going to work either. So since I've exhausted both the 1 and the 9 and the 3 and the 3, what you can conclude is that this thing is irreducible. You cannot do anything else with it factorable. Okay? So how do I do this the other way? Put the 9 here, put the 10 here. I need 90 and I need a negative 5. So we are going to come over to our calculator and we're going to put 90. I'm looking for factors of 90 that are going to give me a 5. 45 minus 2, 30 minus 3, 18 minus 5, 16 minus or 15 minus 6, and 10 minus 9. None of those are going to give you what we need, which is a -5. So therefore, since I could never obtain that, it is going to be irreducible. So the irreducibles are really easy to find on this method. Number 17. Number 17, the very first thing we're going to do is find our smallest number up there. Our smallest number up there is going to be 15. Factors of 15 are going to be 1 and 15, 3 and 5. 15 does not go into all of those. 5 does not go into all those, but 3 does. So I'm going to go fish and divide each term by 3 to give me a 5x squared plus a 17x plus 18 divided by 3 is 6. So now I'm going to go ahead and factor this into two binomials, understanding that my factors of 5 are just 1 and 5. So I'm going to use a 5x and an x. I need to have a positive 6, which if I have to have a positive 6, my signs are either plus plus or minus minus. Look at the middle sign, they have to be plus plus. This also says I'm adding, which means my factors of 6 are 1 and 6 and 2 and 3. I need to get as close to 17 as I can without going over. So am I going to multiply 5 times 2 or 5 times 3? Well, if you said by 3, you'd be right. Inner gives me a 2x, outer gives me a 15x to give you a 17x, and you are done. Same exact problem. Pulling out the 3, we're going to have a 5x squared plus 17x plus 6. Going ahead and doing your x method, we're going to have a 5 here, a 6 here, a 30, and a 17. Factors of 30, if we put those in our graph in our calculator here, that are going to give me 17. Well, that's going to be 2 and 15. 2 and 15 are going to give me 17. So I'm going to be using an x plus, and I'm going to be using 15 over 5 and 2 over 5. So that's 3 parentheses, x plus 3, and then that's 5x plus 2 because that cannot be reduced, and you are done. So same exact problem done 2 different ways, and we get both the same answers, okay? Last problem I'm going to do for you on your homework tonight is problem 18. Okay, problem 18. I'm going to go ahead and look for the GCF here. 10 is my smallest number up there. Factors of 10 are going to be 1 and 10, 2 and 5. 10 does not go into both of those. 5 does not, 2 does not, so therefore there is no GCF. So since we already have our factors up there, I'm going to use my 2 middle factors, which is going to be 2x and 5x. Factors of 18 are 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. Always use your middlemost factors. Can I put the 6 in this slot right here with the 2? The answer to that is no, you cannot, so that means the 3 goes there. This gives me a 15x, this gives me a 12x, and that does give me a 27 if both signs are positive, and that is what I wanted to do. Okay? Same exact problem, done the AC method. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my x. Here's my 10, here's my 18. That gives me 180, and I want it to be 27. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to find factors of 180. Factors of 180 that are going to add to give me 27. That are going to add to give me 27. Well, that is going to be 12 and 15. So I'm going to have an x plus a 12 over 10, an x plus a 15 over 10, and I'm going to reduce both of those, dividing those both by 2. That is going to give you a 6 over 5. Dividing these both by 5, that's going to give you a 3 over 2, to give you a 5x plus 6 and a 2x plus 3. So how do I know that I'm right? Inner gives me a 12x, outer gives me a 15x to give me the 27x, which is what I wanted, and we got the answer both ways. And we are correct. If you have any questions, please let me know.